Saga Cigars, makers of the Saga Golden Age. The Golden Age is a cigar that takes you back to the classic days of cigar smoking. Through the 6 generations of experience by the Reyes family, the Saga Golden Age delivers a timeless blend that uses the nobility of the tobacco to bring you the perfect balance of power and flavor. It narrates better than words the history of a family's tradition in tobacco, delivering a cigar much like the ones they used to smoke in the times of Hemingway. Saga Golden Age is a full-bodied, full-flavored Dominican Puro. With tobaccos from one farm, the blend features a Corojo 2006 wrapper and filler from original Cuban seeds grown in the Dominican Republic. Available in 4 sizes at an affordable price, the Saga Golden Age is sure to please and take you back on a journey to yesteryear.
Brought to you by Rocky Patel Premium Cigars, the Tabacero by Hamlet Paredes, developed and blended by Cuban master of tobacco, Hamlet Paredes. This cigar is an exciting addition to the Patel family, featuring traditional and rare sizes hand-picked by Hamlet himself. Smoke Tabacero by Hamlet Paredes today. For more information, visit them on the web at rockypatel.com and be sure to follow Rocky Patel Premium Cigars on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Welcome back to the Stogie Geeks Show. We are at episode 207. Will Cooper from Studio C in North Carolina manning the controls tonight while Paul is trick-or-treating. We have Mark, Riley, and the team up at the Villiger North America Studios in Rhode Island. And we have Mr. Hector Alfonso Sr. From Espinosa Cigars in La Zona. And Dave Burck of the Cigar Jukebox joining us as a special co-host. This has been a really fun show, guys.
If I could, my fact checkers just advised me that that cigar was for Thompson, not for JR.
Okay.
We're back. Okay. Got to give the props where the props are due. You know, the props. I don't want to be. There's just so many things going on here, man. Just so many things. All right, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, and we're all about fact-checking here. But just before we start the segment, I want to just tell listeners, be sure this Saturday to head over to the Smooth Drawers radio show at 10 a.m. At smoothdrawers.com. I will be a special guest with the guys on that show. We'll be talking plenty of cigar news. So definitely tune in with those guys. Yep. We have Saturday morning news covered like nobody else at Cigar Coop and Stogie Geeks. You don't need to go anywhere else, but there's a lot of great shows. We're not saying, but we will have the most complete Saturday morning news. We record Stogie Geeks news, and we have these weekly report, of course, on Cigar Coop. Anyway, let's kind of go ahead, Hector.
Are we looking to get into Sirius FM as well? I think we can probably work a little podcast out on Sirius. What do you think?
I think we could do something.
I mean, when I'm in the car, I spend all day listening to fantasy football on Sirius Radio. I mean, that's going to end in 8 or 9 weeks. Well, my season's over already. But, you know, I figure a cigar show, there's got to be some cigar shows on there. I'm just a thought, just a little food for thought.
It is food for thought. There was one on there. It's no longer on there, but as far as I know. So there was one podcast that was on for several years, but they're still held. You can still listen to them on their app. But okay. I believe it was Cigar Dave. who was on there for many years. But anyway, Stogies of the Week. We're going to get into what we're smoking. And I think what I'll do is we'll go around the horn. We'll kind of do this in a rotation. Dave will kind of kick it off, I think, with you. What have you been smoking this week?
Well, before I get into that, I just want to give another shout out to listener Brett Smith, who sent me the Monster I had and also sent me the 2016 Saints and Sinners. And I've moved on from the Monster to Saints and Sinners #1 from 2016, Tatuaje. It's smoking well, so thanks, Brett. I tried to smoke some new stuff, plus some stuff that people might not have had. I'll start with one that people might not have had, and that's from Sam Lacia with the Desnudo. He's selling cigars direct, and that was a cigar he's come out with recently. You can get from his website. The Desnudo comes in a bunch of different vitolas. I've had both the 7.5 by 38 Lancero and I'm smoking right now, or the one I smoked this week is the 5x54 Robusto. I had about 4 months of age on it, if people are into that. Brazilian Arapiraca wrapper, Nicaraguan Habano binder, and the filler is Nicaraguan Ligero, Pennsylvanian Ligero, and Brazilian Mata Fina. It has a bit of a pigtail at the top in terms of construction. Great construction, great draw. It's a lot like if you've had the Luchador, I think you really like this cigar. Lots of body, really rich, sort of thick, hot chocolate type notes. A really thick chocolate, but it also, like while you're having the cigar, a bit of a honey sweetness comes in. There's a bit of a sweet element that sort of balances out that really sort of rich chocolate note. And it's just really well, like it delivers flavors really well, has a good body, and just a great smoke. It's not too overly strong, but like Hector was saying before with reviews, my wheelhouse are strong cigars. So for me, it might not be that strong, but for you, it might be. It would probably be somewhere in the medium plus to full, depending on, what cigars you like. I loved it. I really liked it in both Vitolas. I think I would go more with the Robusto. I gave it a box rating. I could rip through a box of these in no time. Like just a really great, rich cigar that I think because Sam is now selling them direct, like I don't know if a lot's been out there about the Desnudo, but I would highly suggest going to his website and picking some up. Just a really well-made, rich cigar.
So I'll make one. I haven't smoked the cigar, and it sounds like a really good cigar. So yeah, Sam's kind of gone. He's kind of gone. I would say he's selling direct to consumer right now. Something right now. I don't know what's not. The only thing is, I just don't see those cigars. Sam was one of the hottest guys in the industry, and I'm not sure exactly what's happened, but he just seems quiet lately. There's not a lot of buzz. I don't know if it's just some time that he needs to kind of launch this, but I would have expected more buzz around some of the cigar. He's been quiet, so to speak. So maybe it just needs some time. That's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a great cigar, and it could be because he's building up now, and maybe he's
Right.
You don't have the sales force as they used to, but I mean people need to go out to a site and get this cigar because it's really good.
Excellent. And the name of the cigar again was the
Desnudo. So and I think it's because it's unbanded, so I think that's what the Desnudo. So go to his site and check it out.
Cool. Hector, what have you been smoking this week?
Well, I had my third Red Knight Toro last week. I had a JSK. I'm going to try to say it, the Joss Sum Crawl. Does that sound right? It's Risty. I have a hard time saying his name too. I'm just going to call it Risty. That's till he corrects me. I had it prior. I had it as soon as I came back from the show because Alan had it, and then I had it again, and then I saw a review, and I didn't believe it, so I wanted to try it again. And it's a fantastic cigar. It was a Red Knight Toro. It was a 6x52 Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. It had a Mexican San Andreas binder. It's undisclosed filler, but I tasted a little sweetness in there. It's very peppery. I had some toffee notes. It was creamy. The pepper was more white, a little white and black spice. I didn't get the red, but then again, it was probably late in the day. I'd had probably 2 or 3 cigars here. I thought the cigar was fantastic, and it's in my wheelhouse too. 6x52. I'm a 6x50, 6x48, but 6x52 was great, and the buzz about the cigar at the store was fantastic. I thought it was a good cigar, very good cigar.
And just so folks want to check out, we did interview Riste on episode 189. You can check that out. The funny thing is, every time I hear that cigar, Jazz Sam Kroll, I start thinking of the John Fogerty song, "Vans can dance, but you steal your money." I don't know why, and it's not that the cigars are, it's just that song gets in my head because of Jazz Sam Kroll. but it's real enjoyable. I don't know. I just kind of get that in my head. Let me say, Hector, smoke the Lancero. It's even better.
Really? Okay.
The Lancero. I mean, and I thought that Toro, the Red Knight Toro was great. I thought he really. By the way, that was a terrible attempt at humor I did. Your
show.
Yeah,
it's your show.
Yeah,
it's your show. They got to deal with it.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Wah wah. But yeah. That was. I thought the Lancero actually even was better. I mean, it's a very, very good Lancero he came out with. But that line is excellent. Dave, you need to check that line out. You guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you, Will, man.
Okay. So I'll go with mine. Halloween theme. I had this cigar sitting for a full year, and it is the Viaje Full Moon Edición Limitada 2015. So the Edición Limitada was a Maduro version of the Full Moon that came out last year. It really was an uber limited. I'm trying to stay away from reviewing a lot of uber limiteds lately, but it was Halloween. This was a different cigar, and so I gave it a smoke. So basically, they put the Andre put a San Andreas Mexican Maduro wrapper on this thing. I'd say overall, it had a lot of those classic dark roasted coffee notes. It had an interesting little kind of sweet component. A little bit. It had some sourness on the back end of this cigar, and I smoked a few of these actually. So it had a little bit of sourness at the end, which I thought kind of took it down a bit. I don't think it necessarily is better than the original Corojo Full Moon line, but it was still I'd say it still was a fun to smoke a Maduro version of this cigar. And on the Stogie Geeks rating scale, I gave it a 5. But these are pretty hard. If you can find 5 of these, good luck. Yep. So this was Yep.
I was gonna say that's cool. I mean, we can't get a lot of Viaje here, so I'm still sort of diving into Andre's stuff, and I really like it. I really got to get some more Viaje stuff.
Yeah, I know, David. You and I did. We did the Big Ivan for one of your shows once. We did I
could write poems about that cigar. I could construct a church and make a stained glass window all to that cigar. I love that cigar.
Yeah, so Dave and I, we actually on Cigar Jukebox, and Hector's done this before too. We built a playlist around this cigar, which I thought was really, really interesting. I had so much fun. It was such a different way to kind of talk about cigars. It was a lot of fun. But Dave, what else you got? What's your next cigar?
Well, this is a cigar I've been trying to get for a while. So I actually found it. I think at Atlantic, I finally found it, and I got to try it. And that's the Camacho Shellback. And I had the barrel aged, and I really liked all the Camacho when they kind of redid everything and released like the Ecuador and stuff. I really liked their stuff, so I finally tracked it down. The Shellback, it's part of their Brotherhood series. It's a 6x50 Toro, which is we're talking about that kind of 6x50, 6x52. Ecuador Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Honduras filler. I love the presentation. I love that green band. The green band on that cigar really pops. In terms of presentation, I really liked it. It was very smooth cigar. I found it smooth with some slight sweetness and a big spice hit at the end and at the finish. Draw and burn construction's excellent on that cigar. In the middle, it had a bit of like a malted note, like if you were to eat like a bunch of the Whoppers candy, it sort of had that sort of note to it. But no, it's a good balance, body and strength. It was really good. It had a really good final half, final third, and I really like cigars that are still producing flavor in that final third, and they don't just get one note or don't just get harsh. It's still sort of producing new stuff. It was a solid cigar. I would give it a 5. The Shellback. Yeah, I would pick some up if you could still find them. It was really good.
They're aging great, by the way. If folks have tried them, maybe back when they came out last September, about a year ago, revisit that cigar. I think you're going to be real surprised about it. Hector, what else have you been smoking?
Well, then the second cigar I had this week, I had Casa Cuevas Maduro Toro.
I want to hear about it. Hector, just give us a quick, for folks who haven't heard of Casa Cuevas, tell us about this brand and who's behind it.
Well, I to be honest with you, I don't know much about the brand. I know that Gabby Alvarez, he left was it before, and he started working there I think a couple of weeks ago, and he knows when he was at Maya, he knows that I was fond of their Toro. They had a box press Toro that I was very fond of. So when he made the move, the first thing I asked him was, "Well, what do you got?" And he said, "You got to try this cigar." Now, from what I understand, they're a small operation, but they've been around. They're not small per se. I mean, they're still new. They're a new company, new here, trying to get their footprint. Trying to develop. And Gabby went on board. And I'll tell you what, I don't know much about them, but the cigar that I had was wonderful. It was a 6x50 Toro. It was very reminiscent. When I lit it up, it reminded me a lot of a couple of an early 724 from maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It had that taste, and then as I smoked it, it was very, very good. I mean, it had a very good flavor to it. It was dark chocolate. It was nutty. It had a white pepper note through it, and I smoked it really fast, which is my fault. I was really enjoying it. Gave me 1.5 inch ashes. I mean, it was just a nice, beautiful white ash. I'll tell you, what do you have in it? It's funny. It has it's Brazilian Habano wrapper, a dark Brazilian Habano wrapper, Cuba wrapper. It has Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers, and it has that 724 taste came from. I think it's the Colombian filler. It has a little Colombian in it. The cigar's very, 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 very good. And if that's one of the, I think one of the two that he was talking to me.
Yep.
And I thought it was a very good cigar. I told him, I said, "Hey, man, this is good." And then I had to reemphasize, "Look, I'm not blowing wind up, I'm not blowing air up your skirt. This is a really, really good cigar." I know that you reported on him moving. You should probably try to get him on, or so you can, get some more details on it. I'm doing him an injustice because I don't have any of the specific details, but I can tell you that if that's one of their cigars, and this is very good.
Yeah, Gabriel will be getting an invite on the show probably later this year or in January at the latest. So he is definitely on the list to talk to. And for folks, the factory, I think that's the factory they're working with. It's a factory actually. Casa Cuevas, they own a factory, and now they're producing their own brand, from what I know. And they've done some of Sam's Lucia stuff. They've done Gurkha and some Tarano stuff as well.
Well, I'm telling you, if you get a chance, if Gabby can put a couple in your hand, I think you'll like it as well. I think it's in your wheelhouse too.
Yep. No, I look. Like I said, he's got an incredible palate. He's one of the. I love him as a person in the industry and as a friend. He's wonderful. I mean, him and his Grace just had a baby, so best of luck to them as well. I'll go next. One more Halloween cigar, and that was the Skinny Drac. Overall, I'm going to be honest, the Skinny Monsters have probably been the least inspiring of all the monster iterations, full size, pudgy, and little. The Skinnies have been hit or miss with me. The Drac is probably about where it is for all the other sizes with me, in terms of I felt it wasn't much better. It was kind of the same. It didn't really wow me, but it didn't disappoint me either, which is kind of, in general, what the Drac blend does. It's got that Ecuadorian Habano Maduro wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and filler. You're going to get that Maduro sweetness, a little that dried fruit, that chocolate note on there, some of the Nicaraguan earthy flavors. It's a medium strength, medium bodied cigar here. It's not overpowering, at least in this size. Good cigar. I think it's, like I said, are there Skinny Monsters I like better? Yes, I've smoked 9 out of 10. The Frank's not the one I've smoked. That's the last one I got to smoke. But I think as far as like the face and the mummy and the Jekyll, I'd probably put ahead of this. But this one's a $5. Like I said, there was some I liked less than this one, but this one's kind of right in the middle, so $5. Dave, what's your next cigar?
Oh no! I mean, at first it was cool to hear about that Skinny Monster because I really like the Drac, the regular full-sized one. So I'll have to try and check that out.
Yep.
This cigar I was excited about as soon as it was announced, and it did not disappoint. And that is the Black Label Trading Company's Bishop's Blend. It's the 6 1/4 by 46 Corona Larga. It has a closed foot. Came out of the Fabrica Oveja Negra, the Black Label's factory that puts out. I mean, it put out the Nomad Martial Law. It puts out their Black Work Studio stuff, as well as some other stuff. Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper, Ecuadorian Habano binder, Nicaraguan Pennsylvania broadleaf, and Connecticut broadleaf fillers. And this cigar is amazing. It huge flavor, bunch of spice, chocolate, sort of what I like to call kind of like a dark fruit, so like more not citrusy, I guess more that stewed fruit sort of thing. Excellent burn and draw, great combustion, smokes extremely well. It has great tobacco notes, and it's sort of this dark sweetness, kind of almost a molasses sort of flavor. I loved it. And it's a very unique cigar. I think a lot of the stuff that James is putting out are sort of blends or flavors you don't get in a lot of cigars. And a lot of his stuff is putting out is quite unique. It's my favorite Black Label cigar. It's one of my favorites of 2016 thus far. And I would rate it fight Chuck Norris, kind of bordering on Oasis for me.
It was now you gave me the Corona Lager when I sent them to you, and I had one of them and it's excellent. And I've smoked a lot more of the Robustos. That blend I thought here's what was really cool. He's using an Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper, but in the filler he's got Pennsylvania broadleaf and Connecticut broadleaf, and I think to kind of get those flavors out of the filler. And Hector, you could tell me if I'm smoking crack on this or not, but I know. But he used an Ecuadorian Habano binder, and I think that kind of allowed those broadleaf components to shine. So I got some of those classic the classic Connecticut broadleaf, some of that sweetness, and then I got a little bit of that mineral component and a little bit of that strength that I get from the Pennsylvania broadleaf. So I thought I was able to kind of dissect that, and I thought it came out real. And probably because power suggestion, I was looking for that too. So I'll kind of say I'm not an expert, but I kind of felt I smoked enough of them to kind of to get that. And I've seen James just grow as a blender. I think he, I talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show. I think it's his breakout cigar. I think this is the breakout cigar he was looking for.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I think for me, I haven't had the Robusto, but that's 6 1/2 by 46. It's just such a great Vitola.
It's a great size.
It's so great to smoke. So just, I mean, I think just trying to use that blend at that size is just a perfect match for me.
Agree. Hector, what's your next cigar?
Well, the next one is one of ours, not one of the Espinosa, but one of one of the Zonas. I smoked La Huala Claro, which I hadn't smoked since the show, and I had a Churchill because I felt like
that was the size I liked. I really liked that Churchill size.
I got to tell you, I really like that cigar. not for anything. I mean, it's just that cigar was when I was in the factory working on our Connecticut. They wanted a Connecticut as well. And so I had to consider the source. They do like a more powerhouse cigar. Don't get me wrong, we have powerhouse cigars as well, but that seems to be their niche. So it was a Connecticut that had, I'd say it was a solid medium plus. It's very complex. It's that when you're talking about, when Dave was talking about the flavor of Whoppers candy, I taste a lot of malt in this cigar. It's that the weedy malty flavor, a lot of caramel, a lot of wood in the cigar. I think it's very complex, but it has a lot of nicotine. I got a good nicotine buzz from that cigar. I didn't taste any of the bitterness that comes with the Connecticut. I think this is they're not similar blends to the Crema at all. They're completely different cigars.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a perfect cigar for them. It's the perfect Connecticut for them, and I think it's the kind of cigar that it's their gateway cigar. I think because they're not gonna. I don't think they'll make anything milder than this. But it's you look at it, even the packaging with the little white around the band, it's gonna fool you. You're gonna think it's a golfing cigar, and you're gonna go out there and you're gonna shoot 40 over, because you're gonna get a little gnarly smoking that thing. It's not your daddy's Connecticut for sure. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got the burn was great, the flavor was great. It's for them. It's a great cigar for their portfolio, and I think I would recommend that for a Connecticut smoker somebody who wants to smoke Connecticut without having to just blow air. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of doesn't surprise me knowing Danny Moya. And like I said, he is a guy who likes those powerhouse cigars.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all for him. It's all about more power. Like I said, I tried to kill him with that cigar a couple of years ago. I've given up. He's not going anywhere, so might as well make a cigar that he likes,
Exactly. I'll continue along the Connecticut theme. Undercrown Shade Flying Pig. I smoked that. So that's Undercrown Shade, blended by Willie Herrera. It's the Ecuadorian Connecticut Shade offering in the Undercrown line with a Sumatra binder and Dominican and Nicaraguan fillers. It's the 6th Flying Pig in the series. Good cigar. It had a lot of classic notes of some of those creamy notes. It had some of those woody notes. It had some cedar. Nice sweetness to this thing. It's I'm not going to say the Flying Pig is my favorite size. It isn't. Okay. What's nice about smoking that it actually it's one of those there's enough tapering on that Flying Pig where it doesn't feel like you have, and that's a 3 15/16 by 60, but it's tapered enough where it doesn't feel like it's a 60 in your mouth. I don't know necessarily if it wowed me more than some of the other. I know some of the other sizes in that line, but it was a fun smoke to have. This was a fun smoke to have. It was fun to have a Flying Pig in a Connecticut, which we haven't seen before. I gave it a box split. I think Willie did a really nice. I'm curious when Paul. I don't have any more of these because I smoked them on Paul, but I bought these. So, yeah. So I have to get this in Paul's hands, who's our Connecticut guy. But I liked it. Box split on it. Willie did a great job on that cigar.
Yeah, he's been very busy. He's been very busy.
Absolutely. And you talk about a guy who's growing as a blender. He had up until last year he hadn't blended Connecticut Shade.
The funny story is that he was, I don't want to say I was integral or he was integral in our cigars, but he was one of the guys that when I blend anything, he's one of the guys I put a cigar in his hand. I go, before Eric gets it, because I want to make sure when I hand it to Eric, not only does the mood have to be right, the setting has to be right. I have to make sure he hasn't smoked 80 cigars that day or chewed 24 of them. I have to catch him in the right frame because, man, we're two different guys. He's a go guy. He's going from here to there. I have to catch him at the right moment for him to try a cigar. So before that moment comes, while waiting for that window opportunity to rise, I'm smoking it. Fernie's smoking it. Junior will smoke it. The last guy usually gets it is Eric. And by the time he gets it, because I'm pretty sure that he's going to like the cigar. Whether we're going to go with it or not is a different story. But when he was blending Shade, I remember guys at the show telling me, "Hey man, have you had the Shade?" And I was like, "Yeah, 3 months ago." I didn't want to brag, but yeah, I had it 3 months ago and it was good. And when I was doing Crema, I told him, "Here, just smoke this." It didn't have a band on it, and he tells me, "This is really good. You're coming out with this, right?" And I said, "Yeah, that's going to be our Connecticut." He goes, "This is fantastic." I mean, and that like I said, some guys, it means a lot when you get feedback from guys who smoked a lot. Like when Eric tells me the cigar's good, that's 100 rating. When he says it's fantastic, you got to just stop. You got to count your blessings. But he smoked a lot of cigars. He's had a lot of cigars in his mouth. He's chewed a lot. He's his palate. He's his experienced palate. He tells you it's good. You got to go with it. It's good. But for a guy who's making cigars at a different factory where everything is different, the taste is different. Because we did that game a couple of years back. We blended 2 cigars identical. It was this filler, this binder, this wrapper. They made it a Drew. We made ours at Lazona, and the cigars were good, but they were both they tasted completely different. So yeah, and I'll tell you, he liked that cigar a lot. After he liked it, especially on the heels of the success that Shade had, I was very confident to put the cigar in Eric's hand, and the rest is history. Thank God.
That's a great story. That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's always good hearing those little insights. Dave, what's your next cigar?
Well, this is the last one that I have. It's AJ Fernandez San Latano Habano Churchill. I got this from another listener in Australia, Tom Allison, because I don't smoke a lot of Churchills, but it was sent over to me. It's a 7x52 Brazilian Habano wrapper, Honduran binder, Dominican, Honduran, Nicaraguan fillers. It's a big cigar. It took me about 2 hours to smoke it, I think. It's really good. Great construction. Has cedar, tobacco, spice, and cream flavors to it. Very smooth. I think near the end, about the final 2/3 is when you get a bit more of a strength kick to it. But I don't really go with a lot of Churchills because I find that with a lot of Churchills, the first third is sort of kind of more muted. The second third, the cigar really comes into its own, and the final third, it sort of runs out of gas. But I found with this cigar, it delivers flavor all the way through. It has some really good change-ups in it. For me, if I'm going to go for a Churchill, I think I'm going to reach for this one. So the San Latano Habano Churchill for me, box split, a really good Churchill.
Nice. Hector, another cigar?
Sure, I got like 8 of them, so we can be here all night. I've got an AJ one, but I'm going to save that one for last. I already told you the story behind Daddy Mac, but I got a chance to smoke it again. I mean, I don't really smoke the stuff we sell. I have so many samples here, and I'm trying to always catch up on samples and new stuff. But I got a chance to smoke the Daddy Mac Toro the other day, thanks to the FDA. The FDA cracked open some of the boxes, and they opened one of their boxes and cut one cigar. So you can't send them a box with one cigar missing. So I took one and I smoked it, and it just it made me a little angry because I remember how much I wanted this blend for us. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that we gave it to friends of the company and guys that we're in business with. That Daddy Mac, if you haven't had a chance to have that Daddy Mac is a sneaky strong cigar. Sneaky, it's got very sneaky cigar. We're using that Brazilian Baiano wrapper, the darker one, the one that we don't use for L'Orange. Yeah, I'm not even saying it right. It's L'Orange. I'm saying it like Eric now.
I did too.
Yeah, the L'Orange. It's a Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan fillers, but the cigar is very nutty, has very creamy caramel, a black pepper on the retrohale, but it's a very sneaky, strong cigar. I mean, I smoked it a few times, and I was like, wow, this is really, really, really good. It doesn't taste like L'Orange at all, but it does have some of the characteristics from the wrapper, that aroma that you get from that wrapper. That Baiano is really good. I really love that wrapper. I think that cigar is doing very well for them. They're very happy with that cigar, and I just found it. I found it just it hit the spot when I had that cigar. I didn't have it here. I had it at home, and it was a very, very good cigar. And I can't give ratings because that goes against what we do. But I would tell you that when I'm recommending cigars that are mine, and it's hard for me to recommend stuff that's mine because at the shop that I go to, they have everything. if I rolled, if I rolled a tire in a Connecticut wrapper, we could probably sell 3 boxes there. But when guys say, well, what do you have that you guys have made? I turn them on to, hey, try this, try that. And the Daddy Mac is for sure a cigar that I've turned them on to that's gotten really, really good response back.
Yeah, and I agree.
Have you had? Have you had it yet, Coop? The Daddy Mac? Have you had the Daddy Mac?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I reviewed it. It was fantastic. In fact, I've had Daddy Mac before it was Daddy Mac.
Well, yeah, but you're one of 10 people who've had it before it was Daddy Mac.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was Daddy Mac until after. I didn't know that was what I had until after I reviewed it, and you told me that was what I had.
You didn't. I didn't know either. I found out later on that during that same trip. I'm really looking forward to Venganza coming in to turn some people on to Venganza. Venganza is a pepper bomb, but that Daddy Mac, I like that cigar an awful lot.
What else you got? What else you got, Hector? I'll go through a few of yours.
Well,
I know you got
the last one I had. I was gonna talk. I can't be on a show and not mention Cancel, because I had 2 other cigars that I smoked. I'll just, since we already talked about Surgeon and his review on the Protocol Lancero and how well it did, and how, to answer his question, if he's watching, because I'm sure he watches, you guys watch each other's podcast, how a cigar with 4 Ligero leaves burns. It's simple, it's the guys at the factory, they have 50, 60 years of experience working in the tobacco industry. Yeah, they're using Ligero, but they're using some dark Ligero with some of the lighter ones to get some combustion. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's just mixing and matching the age for Stogies. We did a Lancero for La Sirena. We did a Lancero in the Warhead, and then we did one for Protocol. I mean, it's funny. 2 years ago, nobody talked about Lanceros, and I think I had this conversation with you. I said smaller rings are coming back. The smaller ring gauges are coming back. I think that Lancero is fantastic. But the cigar that I smoked, and I smoked it twice. I had it in Nicaragua. When I was in Nicaragua a couple of weeks ago with Eric, when the hurricane was going to kill us, everybody thought the hurricane was going to decimate Florida. We went to see AJ, and I had a Bellezante. He gave me a Bellezante. I could be wrong here, but I think it's like a 6 1/4, maybe 6 1/2 by 54 in a box press. And I had it there, and it was good. It was very good. Also, it helped that as we were there, he's a guy who's very proud of his whole operation. He showed us, he showed me everything. Look, this is some of the binder that I'm using. This is the filler leaves over here. He showed me the wrapper, and then he gave me another one, and I put it in my bag, and I forgot about it. And then this week, when I knew I was going to be on and I had to smoke some cigars, I grabbed it, and the cigar is phenomenal. I mean, what he's doing over there is incredible. The man's got an incredible work ethic. The factory runs like a Swiss, like a German train schedule. It's just, everything is just so well done. His tobacco's so well. It's so seasoned, and it's perfect. It's just really, really, really good. Had a beautiful wrapper. The flavors were phenomenal. It was, I don't want to say it was muted, because that's not the right word. It didn't have that big pepper bomb, that peppery taste that we do, which is part of our telltale sign. He's working with tobacco that's so fermented. It's coalesced. It was a smoking experience. It was a very, very good smoking experience, and I thought the cigar is phenomenal. And I think everything he's doing over there is coming out great. People are going to see him, obviously, because of the tobacco, and not just what he has, but the way he's putting things out and the way he works. It's funny, the guy who's got 2,000 employees, and as we walked around, he knew the name of, he's involved in every aspect. We'd walk by and he'd see something, and hey, do this, do that, and he knows the names of, I try to remember the names of the 14 pair that we have, the 16 pair that we have, and it's hard. He has 200 pair, and he knows all their names, and I think that's a tribute. That's a great thing. But that's beside the point. The cigar was very good. If you get a chance to try that base, I would surely recommend it.
And I've been to AJ's factory, and I can concur. He gives an unbelievable tour. He didn't speak a lick of English, on our tour, but
was Ricky there? Was Ricky translating for you?
It was before
have-
Ricky. I forget who it was, but yeah. It may have been Ricky, because Ricky, I think, was working the factory back then. It may have been Ricky. But yeah, he translated, but it was a fantastic tour. The Bellas Artes, it's a much more refined cigar by AJ Fernandez. I don't like I think you're going to see that cigar very high on at the end of the year in a major publication. I think that could be AJ's big splash into a major top 25 this year.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a half-hour visit to AJ.
No, absolutely. Now, when I went, he wasn't in one factory. He was in all the different places in Nicaragua. So we spent the whole day going like from place to place, where he was all over the place.
That big factory is incredible, and not just that. Once you're there, you get to see everything, and and he lets you. For me, it's like a kid in a candy store, and he knows I love that shit. So he's like, hey, look at this wrapper here. You like that? I mean, yes, of course you love it. It's beautiful, And that one, I went prior to the time I went with Eric. I went by myself, and I went just for a little, hey, how are you? It's the polite thing to do since him and Eric are friends, and they go back, and so I'm there, and I'll go by and say hello. And I told Eric I'll probably just be there half an hour. Well, 3 hours later, it was the factory, it was the field, it was the other fields, it was the hybrids. He's very proud, and you know what? Deservingly so. Deservingly so.
Absolutely. Great. I totally agree. Anyway, anyone else have any more smokes? Or you guys smoked out?
You know what I smoked? I don't know if you're familiar with it. If you've had a chance to smoke it, I smoked it also this week. I smoked that HVC San Isidro.
I haven't smoked that yet. A lot of people are talking about that.
You know what? We've covered a lot of cigars, but if I can recommend a cigar for you to smoke so you can make your own analysis of it, give that cigar a shot. Toro, I think 6.5, 52 box press, maybe 6.5, 50 box press. I think it's 52 box press. It's a very, very, very good cigar. That HVC, I like HVC. I've been smoking them for a while, but that was new, and I thought the cigar was incredible.
Yeah, I got to give that a shot. I definitely got to give that a shot. So I think that brings us to the end here. We went quite a while, so thanks to everyone who stuck it out with us. I think it was a great show, by the way. Dave and Hector, first of all, a big thank you for taking the time. I know both of you guys have busy schedules, and we really appreciate you coming on. This was a great show. We are going to have to definitely do this again. So with that, thanks to Dave and Hector. We'll be back next week with episode 208. Special guest will be Justin Andrews from Foundry. And be sure to check out Cigar Coop at www.cigar-coop.com. Stogie Geeks News, www.stogienews.tv. Stogie Geeks Shorts, www.stogieshorts.tv. And, of course, the Stogie Geek Show at www.stogiegeeks.com. Thanks to Mark and the team up in Rhode Island. Will signing off here. Take care, everybody.